Hi, Mr. Liggett here. Today we're going to be falling into a vine farm tutorial. If you ever found yourself in need for a bunch of vines in 1.18, which you don't need them to make mossy cobble or mossy stone anymore, but I need them for my project, so I had to figure something out. This might be slightly overcomplicated, but you can be the judge of that one. The area we're going to be looking at today is 5 by 19 by 4. That's the main farm area you'll need. The rail area is 1 by 23, and the little copper area you see right there below it, that's a 3 by 4 by 2. Now, it's not that big of a footprint, but it's not super small, and it doesn't need to be chunk aligned, so that's, your discretion. You could make it smaller, you could make it bigger. Down there is where our elevator goes, right there is where our rail goes, and right here is our main farm area. Now what I'm going to do right here is just mark out the perimeter to show you the inner space versus the outer space. The wall is going to go around the entire thing. The side and back, both sides, are going to be 4 tall, but the front block there in front of the orange is only going to be 1 tall. It's going to need that be that way for you to farm your vines properly. Now we're going to go take a look at the one I already have built up just so you can get an idea of what you're looking at. It's not huge, but like I said, it's not super small either. You could vary the size as long as you make it an odd number because the elevator should be in the middle. Now, we're going to be building this farm from the most complicated part to the easy part. You guys ready for this? Let's jump on into it. Hi, Liggett from the future here. I had some video issues and I have to re-record this part. So, the following, just disregard this farm behind here. Now we're going to look at the main brain of the farm. You have a comparator, a repeater facing into a block, piece of redstone sticking out, comparator facing out of a repeater facing out of a block with piece of redstone going into that. You're going to put your 2 droppers in and then 1 more on top facing the farm. This is really only going to need observers, 1 torch, and 1 more piece of redstone from here on out. Put a solid block above your comparator here, and then we're going to put in 1 piece of redstone past that. First, we're going to put our observers facing outwards, 2 of them, piece of redstone there, the last one I was talking about, and then 1 more observer facing into that. 1 redstone torch on top, and then your comparator facing into the dropper to read that. Now, normally for this dropper vader, you would put a solid block there, but without that comparator, it's going to keep firing repeatedly because it's being fed by a hopper here. So you see that? Just lets it go out, feed in, through the cycle, back to the top. Pretty easy. Now you just hop in the minecart, and I'm going to ride it here with an empty hand so I can show you. If you have an empty spot, boom, the shears go right into your hand, and that is the premise of this. Break the vines till your shears break, and then you get a new one. If not, it feeds it back through the system. Now that was the hard part done. Let's work on the easy part. Let's get our materials out of here for the rail, and don't misplace it. I'm going to put that hopper back in here because I don't need that, and we're also going to need a solid block on either end. It has to be a solid block. No glass, no half slabs, no nothing like that. It has to be a solid block. It's how all little rail systems that bounce you back and forth work. This one is just to give you the right amount of speed in front of the farm when you're using efficiency shears, at least efficiency 3. So you put your 2 powered rails down, and I'm going to put a redstone torch there to power that just for the moment because it's the easiest way to do it, but you don't have to do it this way. I'll grab a lever here and show you if I can ever find it. There we go. You just pop one of those guys down and flip it on and power it the exact same way. A lot cheaper, but this farm's already expensive enough with the observers and all. So we're going to put our rails down on this side, put them down on this side, make that easy. And we're going to put 1 more on top of this hopper, 1 more on top of that hopper, and then a detector rail right in front of that, so it makes it fire every time you go past. If the wall is up, then they will not fire, out like this is going to, just into nothingness back and forth. That's the opposite of what you want. You want it to go bounce off the wall and into the hopper. And the reason there is 3 hoppers there is occasionally when it bounces off the wall, it will go to the left or the right. I only had that happen a few times when I was testing it, but for those times, why would you make it, why would you want loss if you can save that, which is 2 extra hoppers? You're using enough iron to feed it with shears, why waste more iron than you need to? Now I'm just going to throw my materials back in the chest here, and throw those little wood blocks away because I don't need them, if I could ever do that. And you can see, now we're going to start on the main portion of the farm itself. Now for this, you're going to need at least 34 vines to start it off, your solid blocks, and a couple of water buckets. Now I'm going to speed this part up because no one really wants to see you place ice, but realistically, you don't need ice on the entire thing. I want to do that to make the system move a little bit faster, even though that really makes no real difference. The only place you will need ice is where you have your signs and or pressure plates. I say signs or pressure plates because I use signs here in this, but I originally went with that, but I ended up going with pressure plates because some of the vines were getting stuck on there. If you're having that issue too, you can just switch it out. Now, these walls here, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna be 4 tall. Don't misplace like me, and you should be good. 4 tall on the sides, 4 tall on the back, and it's pretty much that simple. Now, you're just gonna have these guys go up. I should have sped this part up too, but you can see this is exactly what you should be doing in survival, as long as you don't misplace things like I do. Now, one more layer, okay. Now the top layer is going to have one, or the front layer is going to have one on the bottom and one on the top here on the inner wall. Now you are just about done at this point, okay? All we have to do from this point on is put our water and our vines in. Now you need about 6 water buckets, or 4 realistically if you want to put that all in. Now don't fall in there, and your signs are going to go on the 8th water block right where it ends, right before your detector rail or your pressure plates. Put them in, that'll stop the water stream, let the items go right through there, and then put 2 or 3 more right down there. Now come right over here, and this is where your hoppers should go. You can make them facing out whichever way you'd like. Okay, you could make it go off to the side, you could make it go off to the front. Me, I'm going to go to the front with this one, just because. So I'm going to bust this rail out here, bust that out there, and start placing the hoppers. Now, I'm struggling a bit here to place these hoppers because of the water, so I don't know. You might want to block your water stream off, or put them in before you put your water in. I was in creative mode, so I wasn't really thinking about this, so I'm making it harder for myself. Yep, water's pushing me, and I cannot place these. I'm going to probably have to place a block down and do it that way. So let's get rid of these guys real quick, and we'll put a block down underneath me so I can stand on that, and there. That should make it a little bit easier. Yep. And here we go. Click, click, click. Now you're going to bust that guy out, and you're going to have to put a hole in the wall there, and yep, I cannot get out of a 1 block tall hole. I'm not a magician. Alright, put a hole in the back of the wall, throw your last hopper in, or your last block in, and that's it. Put a block on top of that, and you're pretty much done with your system. That's all you really need is a chest in here and some vines, so let's not misplace our rail once again. I love doing that. I love doing that, don't I? Let me pick block this chest real quick, and throw one of these down. Now, realistically, you're not going to need a gigantic storage system for this. You don't need a whole lot of space. Your vines aren't going to be coming in like that crazy in survival mode. You'll have a good amount, I'm sure, after AFKing for a while, but not a double chest worth. It's not that kind of farm. Now from this point, you're going to need 34 vines, like I said, 17 on either side. The walls have to be spaced this way because they cannot sit one next to another. So you throw them in, and that's really that. Now once you finish putting your vines in, see, you'll go in here, you get pushed along by the water stream too, just like the items would. Now we're going to throw all of this stuff away, because I'm going to have to fill my inventory up with other things in a moment here. We'll put all these items away, and I should have grabbed my minecart out of that chest a moment ago. I'll have to go back for that, and then I'll show you how this whole thing works all together. Yep, get my minecart out of here. Where did I put that? Alright, throw that in, pop it down, and then just hop right in. Now this is pretty much all you need for the entire farm. This is... Alright, now we're going to hop into the part where I show you how to use it. This is the kind of farm where you need your entire inventory filled. You're going to need at least 1 space in your hotbar dedicated to shears, and everything else needs to be filled up. Okay? You're going to just come across here. Don't break that block out. See, I love breaking blocks as much as I love misplacing them. Now, as long as your entire inventory is filled and you have 1 dedicated to shears, you'll be good. Turn my game mode to survival and turn the tick speed up so you can see exactly what I mean for this. Alright, 1000, just so you know, these will never grow this fast in survival mode, ever, but this is just so I can show you how it's supposed to work. Now again, I have to reiterate, you're going to want efficiency shears. I'm using efficiency 5 for this just to show you, but you're going to want at least efficiency 3. you're never going to have, too many in front of each other like that all at once to break them. So you just bounce back and forth. You can use an auto clicker or rubber band your controller, however you prefer to do it, but you just go right back and forth here. You see your shears are going to take damage through this, and the whole idea is when the shears take enough damage, they're going to break, and then when you go over the detector rail, you'll be dispensed a new pair. It's a pretty straightforward concept. People have been using farms like this for a while. I couldn't find one that I liked for my exact needs, so I modified a couple designs, put them together, and this is what I was able to come up with. Like I said, might seem a little overcomplicated with the item elevator and all that, but for maximum shear storage, that's what I was going for here. Now, this, you see, boop, puts the shears out, and there, that would be your empty hand. Now, let me actually try to display that here in a moment. We're gonna throw these shears out, we're gonna pretend like they broke. And we're gonna also pretend like the shears it dispensed are also enchanted. And boop, right into your hand, and if you were already facing this way and had an auto clicker on or your controller rubber banded, it would already be working. Now, I hope this was useful to you as it is to me. I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.